taxes, y'all.
I have 3 jobs and I'm still struggling.
I have 3 work from home jobs and I do all 3 Monday through Friday. And I'm a stay-at-home mom.
It is becoming a common reality that Americans now have to work 3 jobs just to survive, just to afford the bare minimum, such as rent, groceries, electricity, and water. Americans are either going without or having to work another job, if not 2, and a side hustle, just to afford to live.
I have 3 jobs and I'm still struggling. I am a teacher. I tutor after school. I just got through with one of my tutoring sessions actually, and I also make content. I have 1 full-time job with full benefits and then 2 part-time/contract jobs, and I am still struggling. The solution is not to get a 4th job. There's something wrong with this world. Something has got to give to where we live in a world where people can work multiple jobs and they're still struggling. What does that say? Like, the solution isn't you need another job or you're just lazy and you don't want to work. We're working multiple jobs. What more do we have to do in order to live comfortably in this world? I think it's ridiculous.
I need some advice. So I'm currently on my 3rd job today. I work here 11 to 7, but today's Monday, so I also work at Ulta tonight from 7 to 11. Problem is those two schedules conflict. So I'm going to be here until 7 p.m. and I have to be at Ulta at 7 p.m. It's literally a 25-minute technically drive from this job that I'm at now to Ulta. So I'm sitting here debating which job do I want to either leave early from or get a point for. Now, Ulta, I literally have maybe 1 more point until I'm fired. Damn, I just dropped my top of my water bottle. I have like 1 more point until I'm fired from there. So I really shouldn't be risking no points or like lateness with them. And then this new job, I literally just started, so I don't have no points yet. I think accumulate 1 point, and I think it's 12 points before you get fired. So I'm thinking maybe I should just leave early and just take my L with the point. I am going to ask my manager if I can leave early, but if not, I'm just going to have to leave early because I don't know. Like, honestly, this job, the pay is better at this job, but I want to keep all 3 of my jobs. So I don't know. This is what happens when you have too many jobs. Like, your schedules conflict and it's always constantly something to do. Luckily today's Monday, so I didn't have class today, but I got class tomorrow. Tomorrow's one of those days I'm gonna have class all day, get out of class, go to work all night, get out of work, come home, wake up, gym, class, work, gym, class, work, gym, class, work, every fucking day. So what y'all think I should do? Should I just take the L and get my first point at this new job and leave early so I'm not late to Ulta, so I don't get fired from Ulta? Or do I just want to risk getting another point at Ulta and probably getting fired? I don't know. I asked one of my coworkers because they cover partial of my shift, but I doubt they will, so I don't know. I have no clue.
So much in fucking taxes, y'all. Last year I worked 3 jobs, so let's talk about how much I owe in taxes since it's a lot and I'm a little overwhelmed, a little sad. Actually, I'm not a little sad, I'm very sad. It's hitting me right now because I was driving home and I thought about it. I'm like, so last year I made, just to be sure, $71,808. Now, with my 2 jobs, I've already been taxed from that, right? So I work at Aldi and Walmart. With social media, though, I have not been taxed on that yet, and I made almost 20 grand from just social media. With that being said, after all the write-offs that my guy Jerry was doing for me, which he came in clutch, such as write-offs on like mileage, my phone, filming equipment, tripod, ring lights, I still owe $7,034, and that's just the price you pay when you do social media, since you don't get taxed until the end of the year, unfortunately. The person I went to is Jerry. He charged me $80 and he is in Westminster. If you want the specifics, just DM me. But I'm a little sad, so I'm gonna go eat some ice cream and cry about it, y'all. Bye.
You know, I thought I was a really hard worker, and I still think that, but I've been working 3 jobs for all of December, and I'm so tired and so grumpy, and I'm done. It's positive because I had a retail job that I've been working since we've been back in Oregon, but I got a job at a local paper, which is great and much closer to what I actually want to do, but I had to give my notice at the retail job, and it's December. So if you've ever worked retail, then you know December and retail around Christmas, it's just insane. And so I was like, I'm not going to be that guy and quit before holiday season, because I got the job on like the 13th or something. And so I was like, I'm not going to quit before things even get bad around here. So I decided to be a good person and stick it out, and I'm regretting that. Then I'm working back at the bookstore coffee shop that I worked at before I went to grad school. I will be keeping this job with the newspaper job because the newspaper job is only part-time, so I needed something else. So I'm doing that, and that has only been a little bit. That's been a little bit more sporadic. But still, the main issue here is that at the retail job, we're supposed to get 2 days off a week, okay? Because I'm training at the newspaper job and then also been working at the coffee shop bookstore, I don't get many days off. I worked 13 days in a row, and then I had 1 day off. And then I had to work at the newspaper while I was supposed to be having my other day off from the retail store. Now, on my next day off, which will be the 23rd, I will be again at the newspaper. Then I work Christmas Eve. I do get Christmas off, so that's good. But then I work at the store until the 30th, which is my last day. And then, you know, the cats didn't let me sleep last night. So there's that. I'm doing an open to close today. Or an open to 30 minutes till close. So close enough. I'm just so tired. I'm so tired. And I understand that the job market is tough right now, and so I'm not trying to be insensitive to anyone. I'm so tired. My body is not built for this. I have chronic health issues. I have chronic pain. I'm not built for this. And it's not even like, you know, my goal is to write a novel. Like, that is my ultimate goal. Like, that's my biggest goal for 2026 is to finish my first novel. And working every day on that is something that I could easily do, right? That's something that I am so in love with and so passionate about, and I really love the story that I'm creating and the world that I'm creating, and I could write that from bed on certain days if I really didn't feel like sitting at my desk. But
I have 3 work from home jobs, and I do all 3 Monday through Friday. And I'm a stay-at-home mom, so you can imagine my schedule is pretty insane. Conflicting work meetings, trying to juggle taking care of my kid and work from home. But I use something that feels almost illegal to use.
Here's how an employee was caught working 3 remote full-time jobs. So we learned about this because the employee messed up. I think this person got really messy with how they were managing it, but here's essentially what happened. The employee called this is an IT employee, one of our external systems because they were having trouble logging in and accessing the system. And when they called this company, the company said, well, yeah, we did an audit and you had 2 profiles. And so we locked one out because per our policy, this is the data was really confidential. So you can't do that. We can't have 2 people. And this person said, the employee said, well, I actually work for both of these companies and I do need access to both. Well, this company that she called ended up calling us in HR and the other company, us first, to tell us that, hey, this employee just confirmed to us that they are working 2 jobs, same job, same system, access, things like that. So we, of course, don't take it at face value. So we call this other company to confirm, because you can call and do a verification of employment. And when I talked to the HR person, this HR person was basically like, well, it's funny that you're calling us because we just found out through a very similar situation with a different system that this person is actually working at this other place as well as a full-time remote job. So they had just, with us calling, they had found out that this person is now working 3 full-time jobs. Now, this was a great employee. We absolutely love this employee. They did their work well and we really wanted to keep them. But with the policies of the place that we were working at and with the type of data that we were working with, it was a huge conflict of interest and we couldn't have that happen. So we essentially told this employee that, hey, you need to choose where you're working. And it sounds like the other 2 companies did as well because it was all the same industry. So this employee did unfortunately not work for us, but it was just interesting to know that she worked 3 jobs for so long and didn't get caught because she was doing a really good job and it was really manageable. So take whatever lessons you want from this, but the lesson that I took out of this is, well, there's 2. First of all, make sure you know what your company's policies are, because there are some companies that are perfectly fine with this, but then there are also companies that are like absolutely not, and depending on the work that you're doing, it's just a conflict of interest and you can't.
But the other one is, if you are going to do this, assuming that the company you work for allows you, I'm not telling you guys what to do or not do, but maybe don't work for the same industry where you have the same systems, because it's sometimes not even you who's going to make people find out, it's other companies.
And it's gotten to the point where it's really sad because, in my last video, yesterday's video, I had multiple comments on people saying, well, that's because y'all like to get your expensive phones and you pay your phone bills, and just started saying stuff. At the end of the day, that does not matter. It doesn't matter if you cancel your $100 phone bill when your expenses are still going up by 50% every year because of inflation. It doesn't matter about canceling your $100 phone bill or your $50 gym membership or your $20 Netflix membership when rent is going up $200-$300 a year. Food is going up $100 a year. Electricity is going up $100 a year. It doesn't matter when your wages are staying the same. There's mass layoffs and people are taking pay cuts just to keep their job. People are negotiating just to keep their jobs. It does not matter. People are working 3 jobs just to survive, and that's if you're lucky enough to even get 1, yet 2, yet 3.
I have 3.5 jobs, and I used to be very embarrassed about that until this year. I have a 9-to-5 marketing job, and I have a serving job. I serve tables 1 night a week, and then I usually pick up on the weekend. And I have a freelance editing job, and I've had consistent work, so I do consider that as another part-time job. And I'm also on call for my company 2 weeks out of the month, overnight. So today is one of the rare days where I have all 3.5 jobs in one day. I used to be embarrassed, like I said, about this, and I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if everybody has that same feeling of like, oh, I'm gonna be 29 and I'm serving tables and I'm having to freelance and do all these side gigs. But the reality is that the economy doesn't support the lifestyle that I was raised in. I want a home, I want a backyard for my dog, I want bedrooms for my children, I want a dining room so I can host. Like, those are just things that are important to me. So having 3.5 jobs has been very necessary for me, and I got over being embarrassed and telling people that I have all of these jobs once I started to see such a positive outcome from them. I was able to pay off my student debt just from serving last year. I was able to buy a house. We're remodeling the house and plan a wedding without having to ask our parents for any money. And a lot of that goes back to, my fiance has a full-time job and he helps me with the freelance editing. We do it together. I cut, he colors, things like that. But because my body is healthy and capable of doing all of this work and I don't have children yet, I would say it's the best thing I've ever done for myself, and I encourage so many people to do it. Like, serving is not cringy. Having real conversation with real people about real topics, and you don't get super emotional over things like marketing budgets. And so yeah, today, I don't remember if I already said that, but today's one of the days where I have all 3. So it's 2:42. I'm having lunch right now in my car. I eat in my car a lot because of how much I'm working, but I have my marketing job from 9 to 5. I go into an office. So it's possible to do this if you go into an office, and then I go to my serving job. The work phone is actually going off right now. Serve from 5:30 to 8. The restaurant closes at 8, so I'm only there for 2.5 hours. And the tips are great. And then I go home and I edit ads for social media for other brands and companies. And then while I'm serving, through editing and then through the night until 8 a.m., I'm on call for my company. So I don't necessarily know why I feel the desire to make this, but I just wish someone would have shook me 2.5 years ago and said it's not embarrassing to get a side gig. The reality is a lot of the jobs that we get after college don't pay you enough to live this American dream that we were sold when we went to college. So yeah, I used to be very embarrassed. Now I feel like I'm an advocate for servers and freelancers, and the money is great. Again, it's allowed me so much freedom, and so much stress has been relieved from my life because I have all of these options and I can pick up work if I need more. I'm going on a trip, I need to pick up more shifts. And I've made money off TikTok. I've been posting on TikTok, and if you think that's cringy, it is. But now I'm doing it for the money, and I'm doing it for the mean girls from high school because I know they're probably talking about my videos, and that's fine because if you're watching them, you're giving me engagement, and I've made a nice chunk of change. So I just encourage you, if you're feeling embarrassed or nervous or you don't know where to start or anything, go pick up shifts, go be a hostess, go be a server, go do something that you don't necessarily need a degree for to do, because it's really cool to be able to provide for your family or your future family or pull yourself out of a debt.
I have so many people in my comments wondering, why do you work 3 jobs? First of all, having 4 kids is not cheap. Yes, they're my kids. I chose to have them. Why do you think I'm carrying my butt to work and providing for my kids for what they need? I'm not asking anybody else to take care of my kids. Like, this is why I work so much, to be able to take care of my kids. I can't help it if I can't get child support. Like, I've tried. I can't help it when they're working under the table and not getting the money. And if you don't know me, my name's Jamie. I'm a mom to 4, and I work 3 jobs. My full-time job, I'm a 911 dispatcher, and my other 2 jobs, I waitress. Yeah, I'm tired. This is why I'm coming up on TikTok to post, so I can earn money, so I can slow down and spend time with my kids. I had a woman in the comment yesterday saying this is how she lost her mom, because her mom worked so much. And that is my biggest fear of working this much. I don't want to cry, but I don't want to work these jobs, but I have to. You know, rent is outrageous now. Rent is ridiculous. Groceries are ridiculous. Why? I don't understand why prices keep going up. And you know what's sad? This is the honest truth. Things are never going to come back down. They are never going to come back down. They're just going to keep going up. So I feel for my kids when they go out into the real world and have to take care of themselves. You know, my oldest son is 18, almost 19. There's no way he could go move out on his own. There's no way. He couldn't afford it. I don't know how they expect, you know, everyone, you know, all the older generation, why these kids still living at home. Well, Grandpa, rent back then ain't what it is now. Like, rent is quadrupled in price. It's a struggle. But yeah, this is why I work 3 jobs. I have to provide for my kids. Anyways, I'm headed into work to work at Buffalo Wild Wings. Say a prayer that I make big money, because I gotta buy groceries.
If you need to make more money, the only other choice is to do something that makes more money, which is work, which is going to lead you to having multiple jobs. I mean, I remember just when I was 18 years old, I think I was 19 years old, but I was working at Walmart, Tzatziki's, and Aflac as an insurance sales agent. I was working 3 jobs at the same time. So, I mean, I know how stressful it gets. I know, you know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I wasn't necessarily in the dire, you know, need to have 3 jobs. Like, it was a necessity, but I was young. I wasn't in college, so I decided to make extra money on the side. But I can only imagine for the people who, you know, they're only one pop tire away from going homeless. They don't have an emergency fund. They're working 3 jobs and still living paycheck to paycheck. But yeah, it's just a sad reality. But there's nothing else we can do but look into other options, like cutting expenses, you know, maybe going off grid, moving, you know, downsizing houses, or just moving abroad, finding other options, you know, homestead living. There's plenty of other ways to escape this system, this, you know, financial burden that we call America. But with all that being said, remember, no matter what happens, as long as you're alive, life goes on.